Hi guys, it's Carrie at River City Pilates, and today I'm going to share with you 10 of my favorite things to do on the big exercise balls. These can be a great prop to have at home. I know a lot of people have them, and sometimes I get comments like, I don't know what to do with it. So today, sharing my 10 favorite things to do. First off is just to bounce on your ball. Right? These are great to have out. Sit it out in front of the TV when you're watching TV and just bounce. So good for our bodies, right? It gets everything moving, great for our lymph system. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can just bounce, right? Fine-tuning might be to just think about your good posture while you're bouncing. Engage those core muscles. If you wanted to add some fun variations, you could try something like a jumping jack out and back in. Any of those, anything, bouncing around on your ball. It's gonna get your heart rate up a little bit, gonna get just everything moving. All right, moving on. Number 2 on my list, I'm gonna walk myself out on my ball. And this is just gonna be a little spine movement. So I'm walking myself out, my feet are supporting me, my hands are back behind my head, and I'm gonna take a nice big inhale and let myself stretch my back over the ball. As I exhale, I'm gonna tuck my chin and I'm gonna curl my spine into the ball. They're great core strength. They're also great just mobility through your back. Curling back and forth. They feel kind of amazing. You can open your elbows nice and wide and get a stretch if that feels good for you. And coming back. Number 3 on my list is to walk your feet out a little bit further. I call these like reverse bridges. So I'm gonna walk out so that my head is supported on the ball and my shoulders. I'm gonna lift my hips up, which is some work just to be lifted and to be here. This is great strength work. I like my arms spread out to the side, but you can play with it. You can have them here. I like them kind of nice, open and wide. And then I'm gonna do what feels like a reverse roll down out of a bridge. And I'm gonna curl my back into the ball and kind of wrap it around the ball. And then to come up, I'm gonna do a pelvic tuck first, lift my hips and come back up into that bridge-like position. And you can roll down and then tuck and curl to come back up. And I'm just gonna do a couple more today, but of course, you can add some more at home. Just want to kind of show everything today. And then when I walk in, do be careful when you walk in. I like to just kind of walk my feet and then curl back up and sit tall. All right, next up, I'm going to take the ball to the wall for some of my favorite wall squats. If you don't love squats, you might like these, maybe. I feel like they're nicer. They feel like supported. Even though they're still a squat, they get all the great strengthening work of a squat. I'm gonna start, I kind of walked my feet out a little bit. I got the ball behind my back. My feet and knees about hip width apart in parallel. So the beauty of these is you can take them as low as you want, right? So only go as low as it feels okay on your knees. I'm adding a little arm movement in. That can be optional on there. If it's there for you to get like a nice low squat, this can be a great place to do it. The ball supports your back as you're coming up and down. I like to do some with my legs in parallel, and then I would switch it out and then do a little turnout. So I'm externally rotating my legs. My knees, I'm just thinking that my knees kind of track over the middle of my foot in my turnout. And then same thing. And again, on these, you can take them as low as it is comfortable for your knees, no strain. Okay? If you like that like low roll down, it can be kind of fun with your back up against the ball. All right, moving on. Next up on my list of favorite things are roll downs and roll down variations with the big ball. So it is always fine to anchor your feet under something if you find that they lift up on roll downs, a couch if you're at home or a chair. Sometimes just putting on a pair of shoes or like a little ankle weight over the straps can be really helpful. All right, I'm gonna hold my ball. And you could do these, I'm gonna do them with some bent legs to start with. You could definitely do some straight leg roll downs as well. I'm holding my ball. I'm squeezing in, pulling my shoulder blades down my back, and I'm just gonna start with a little roll down, inhaling halfway, exhale, stretching overhead, and then curling my spine to come back up. And just engaging my arms a little bit that whole time into the ball as I roll down and then curl myself back up. Breathing, of course. And then fun variations, I'm gonna call it the corkscrew roll down. Take your ball and think like you're drawing a circle. So the heels stay planted, the hips stay planted, but you reach your arms to the side, do an arm circle, and then come back up and land with that ball kind of over your feet, and then you go the other way. Circle the ball down and around, kind of follow it with your eyes, and then coming back up. Let's do one more of each of those, right? So these are great. They add a little more oblique work into your roll-ups. So nice little variation that you can do with your big ball. And then back up. All right, moving on. Next up on my favorite things list is some bridging. I call this semicircle bridging because it reminds me of an exercise on the reformer called semicircle. And I'm gonna start with my feet in a little Pilates V, a little turnout, heels together, toes apart. You may have to play with exactly where you want your feet on the ball on this one. I usually go kind of on top, and my arms are pressing in. So I'm going to inhale, straighten my legs, press out. Exhale, tuck my pelvis, bridge up. Inhale, I'm gonna pull the ball in toward me, and then I'm gonna exhale to roll down. So I would do some in one direction. I'll do one more to show you that one. Rolling up, pull it in, roll to come back down, and then we could reverse that. Pelvic tuck, roll up, 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 press out to straight legs, and then roll your spine down to the mat. Bend it in, curl up, holding the ball still if you can, press out, and then rolling to come back down. All right, next up on my favorites is some teaser. So many fun variations with the ball. I'm gonna give you a few different ones. I would suggest starting with the legs bent and kind of progressing from there. So if we have our legs bent, we get our feet somewhere on the ball. Let yourself hang on to the backs of your legs, tuck your chin, curl up, push out, and roll yourself up. And then roll down with lots of control, pulling the ball back towards you. And don't forget to breathe on these. We're gonna tuck our chin, curl up, be here. Maybe the next one, you reach your arms up and roll down without your arms and come back. Right? Next step might be to not hang on the way up. Tuck your chin, curl, reach to come up. If that seems doable, let's leave our legs straight as we roll down, curling through our back to roll down. And then we're gonna try to leave the legs straight to roll back up. Really takes our momentum out of it, makes us have to curl through our back, which is why it's so fun. And then that rolling to come back down, all the way back to the mat. Let's do one more like that one. Just practicing that rolling up and down through our back. And then that curling to come back down. I'm actually gonna do one more because I'm gonna end up sitting up for this next one anyway. All right, and then that takes me to my next exercise. I call these, all these made up names I made up, reverse, it's like a reverse teaser. So I turn my hands out a little bit. You could definitely play with this hand position if you like them in, if you like them a little more turned out. I'm gonna do like a little hands out to the side. Good strength work on this one to lift out of our shoulders and not sink. I got my heels and even a little my calves on the ball right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift my butt up and I'm gonna bridge up, kind of plank-like. And then I'm gonna pull the ball toward me. I'm gonna try not to let my butt touch. So here's like our teaser shape right here, and then go back up. And of course that ball is wobbly, so it's great for our balance and having to adjust along the way. That curling up and then coming back down. All right, so super fun one. And then next up, I'm gonna flip over. I'm gonna head into what I like to call upside down push-up on the ball, or you might call it like a pike. I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna lay on my ball, walk out. If you're new to this, I would start on your hips and your thighs. If you're feeling a little more advanced, you could walk out and let the ball start like on your ankles, shins or ankles down there. But I'm gonna show it here. So shoulders are over my wrists. I'm in this nice plank-like position. I'm gonna tuck my chin, push the mat away, and curl myself up. And then I'm gonna uncurl and come back into that plank shape. Really unrolling through my spine to come up. And then that press and reach back out. I'll show that one more time. Lots of good balance work. Trying to keep my legs straight. And then that leads to me to some of my really favorite ones to do on the ball to end us today, which is just to stretch over the ball. So you can play around with positions on here. We're just gonna be in a nice rounded flex spine. I love to walk forward, kind of let my elbows rest, and maybe even my forehead rest on my hands, and just let my low back hang out on the ball. Relax my legs completely, and then breathe. So this shape of the ball is gonna give some traction, basically. It's gonna lengthen and stretch your back. Little adjustments like pushing yourself back a little bit will change the stretch. Pulling yourself forward a little bit. They're all good. So play around with what you feel like your body needs on there. And then of course, when you're ready, you can come off of there. And one more stretchy one to end with, which would be just kind of reversing the curves in our back to stretch the other way over the ball. So on this one, you just want to walk yourself out. Let your head be supported. Let your arms drape open and just let yourself be here. So you can keep your head nice and supported. If you're comfortable with it, you could start to walk back a little bit. The further you push back, the more of a back bend it is. Definitely be careful on this one from a balance standpoint, how far you go. Play with it and find what feels good for you. Once you get here, just taking some big breath. When you're coming out of this one especially, take it slow. Tuck your chin, curl up. I like to just walk my feet in a little bit and do a nice little roll up to come up to sitting. All right, thank you for joining me today and some of my top things to do on the big exercise ball. I hope you enjoyed them, and I would love to hear about it if you try some of them at home. Check out some more videos on our YouTube page and be sure to subscribe so you know when we do new videos.